A golem? So Henna's legend is true?
It is no more than an obedient machine created to follow orders and kill. Not unlike our Witcher.
So I guess we should get along famously.
You? What do you know about golems?
I don't run into them in every forest, but any good bestiary describes golems at length, and I've read more than my share of those.
Geralt, I'm not questioning your knowledge, but I should be the one to...
Actually, you are questioning my knowledge. Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'll try to get it to reveal the word that'll deactivate it, or I'll just mess with its head. Break the code.
So now we've got a burglar in our midst. Be my guest. Try.
My intentions are good.
As are mine. Know, however, that this may change.
Henna must have been pretty lonely if he gave you eloquence.
The Master made me a guardian. Nothing less, nothing more. And you, provided you stand there, are a guest.
What exactly are you?
So you're aware you're an automaton?
Do we really know who we are, where we came from, and where we are headed? Is human life predictable in that the cycle of birth and death ensnares it? Better than mine. When a human is born, he is obedient to his parents. Later, he listens to tutors, masters, corporals.
Nurses, doctors.
Finally, he succumbs to the will of death.
Undertakers.
And to think that Adalbert questioned Henna's mastery.
Has anyone tried to enter before? We'll go through these again.
Has anyone tried to enter before?
I recall no intruders. I do, however, remember guests who left after being warned.
When was that? What did you discuss?
I am a machine. My memory is limited.
Can you make sovereign decisions?
You are far more self-aware than a typical golem. Can you make sovereign decisions?
The Master made me the way I am, because long discussions were to his liking. I can make decisions, within my program, of course.
So you decide who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Who else would? Guests chat innocuously, exerting no pressure. All others are intruders.
Ah, pressure, yeah. Yeah, who's allowed to pass? No one. Guests are only allowed to stand here. So I'm going to avoid that.
I have other questions.
I'm going to ignore that. Who created you?
Do you remember your creator?
Of course. I was summoned into being by Master Henna. I abide by his will, by his power, by the necessity encased in my stone bowels.
Henna is dead.
His word, which animates me, lives on, as does his legacy, which I protect. Empires will rise and fall, rivers will shift their courses, but I will remain obedient to one master on my eternal watch.
Talk about Henna.
Henna must have been an exceptional man. Can you tell me about him?
I guard everything that belonged to the Master, including his privacy, which he valued highly. I can tell you nothing.
Don't really want to ask any of the others there.
I have other questions.
Do you have a name?
Did your creator give you a name?
I'm called obedience and unyielding persistence. I am a guardian and the humblest of servants.
A golem's name is the word that gave it life, and that can take it away. You must have a name.
I own nothing. Everything belongs to my master. How could I divulge the name if I exist solely to protect my creator's property?
Well, you're a masterpiece.
Powerful magic created you. Henna was a true master.
He is still, since his mastery survives.
Can I ask about your program? I assume not. No, are you lonely?
As a conscious being, you must be lonely here.
You are wrong. The pain of the world, melancholy, lies within the domain of emotions and feelings. My thoughts are governed by pure logic, restricted by my program.
But you can learn. They say that a penchant for philosophy can only come from curiosity.
In my case, it comes from the will of the Master, who liked to speak with me.
And do you feel a need to discuss?
I feel nothing. I just have that need.
That's the program?
Can we discuss the program that controls your behavior?
I assume not.
Of course not.
Yes. Can I ask you a name word? Of course not.
Can I ask you for the name word which brought you to life and which can deactivate you?
Do that, and I shall consider you an intruder.
Yeah, I have other questions.
I have other questions.
Who created you?
Do you remember your creator?
Of course. I was summoned into being by Master Dehenna. I abide by his will, by his power, by the necessity encased in my stone bowels.
Dehenna is dead.
His word, which animates me, lives on, as does his legacy, which I protect. Empires will rise and fall, rivers will shift their courses, but I will remain obedient to one master on my eternal watch.
Yeah, so there's no... I don't want to ask that one. That'll immediately get us into a fight. That doesn't lead to another question.
I have other questions. So you're aware you're an automaton?
Do we really know who we are, where we came from, and where we are headed? Is human life predictable in that the cycle of birth and death ensnares it? Better than mine. When a human is born, he is obedient to his parents. Later, he listens to tutors, masters, corporals. Finally, he succumbs to the will of death.
And to think that Adalbert questioned Dehenna's mastery.
Who is allowed to pass?
Who, if anyone, is allowed to pass?
Dehenna, but he is dead. Also guests may pass, but I stop intruders.
Hang on.
Tell me more. Who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Is it not obvious? A guest keeps his distance, or knows the name word. An intruder is anyone who enters too far, attacks me, or otherwise interferes with my being.
Right.
I have other questions.
I know enough. I don't... Well, we'll press it anyway, see what we can choose.
All right. I think I know how to get past this thing without a fight.
Burglar witchers, philosopher golems, an expedition replete with fascinating discoveries.
And terrible disappointments. Shut up, Adalbert. And you, Witcher, deal with that golem.
With the hands notes being free. No, I know you're a guardian, and I respect that.
We know you exist by the will of your master, thanks to the name word he gave you.
That is true.
I'm a guest here and I wish to talk. As a guest, I would like to know your name.
You were created to discern intruders from guests. You are to stop the former and greet the latter.
Intruders must be stopped.
Sacred law of hospitality?
By the sacred rite of hospitality, as a guest, I will now enter this chamber.
You are a fool. Customs are a human creation, and no part of my code. Stop the intruders.
Oh well. Make you sit through everything again. I'm tempted. I want to see if I can do this, but if I'm honest, I don't think we're going to get it done. I think you've got to go through all of the options, apart from the charm one, and then you've got to go through all the right path. Like maybe I was going the right way before. I'm going to give it one more go, and then I'll just skip through all this dialogue though.
A god.
It is...
exactly are you? About to pass. Then we tried to enter the forest. Makes over his decisions. Other questions. Who created you? Name word.
Can I
Other questions. Have a name.
Did you create a golem's?
Yeah. You're a masterpiece. Self-aware. Only.
And do you?
Can I ask you about your program? I know enough.
All right.
Burglar.
Right, we're back here. Then isn't it? No.
We know you exist by the will of your master, thanks to the name word he gave you.
That is true.
No. Because if I were a guest, I would know his name. Wish to talk?
You were created to discern intruders from guests. You are to stop the former and greet the latter.
Intruders must be stopped.
Lies and delusions.
Are you aware that intruders may seek to deceive you?
I have stone fists to defend myself against those armed with swords. I have my iron logic to defend against those armed with words.
But intruders could include sorcerers who alter reality. They could be illusionists or mere liars. What then is certain?
My existence is certain, as is my master's will.
Same beings we can come to an understanding. If you don't, this pass you'll die. I'm Diana in disguise and I've been testing you. No. I don't like that one. Why do you not have the name word then? Only you and the Masters will exist, everything else is doubtful.
Since only you and the Master's legacy exist for certain, everything else is doubtful. A malicious intruder could cloud your senses.
I am the Guardian. The Master prepared me for that.
He couldn't foresee everything, so he gave you a mind to compensate. You're much more conscious and intelligent than a Guardian needs to be. Your Master says, greet guests and stop intruders. That is certain, but everything else can be a lie. And you cannot allow yourself to attack guests. That would be against your Master's will.
Guests must be greeted, and intruders must be stopped. This is Diana's will. Are you a guest or an intruder?
Doesn't matter what I answer. Your senses deceive you. You can trust only your mind. You can't assume I'm a guest, because I may be an intruder. You can't assume I'm an intruder, because I may be a guest.
This is a contradiction, a paradox. The law of excluded middle.
We've done it. Penetrated Gehenna's laboratory.
Let's have a look.
Oh, so I kill him anyway.
This is better than I'd hoped.
Sad.
A great success for Nilfgaard, this mission.
You're asking.
Maybe you'll get that promotion.
You're asking to get stabbed. That's really bad. I feel less bad. I've got a bag full of rubble in my pocket. Sure that makes sense. Anything useful? Anything lootable? I will take your roots. Paling? No, I didn't want that.
Can you feel that?
My medallion's vibrating.
Another masking illusion. I'll try to disperse it. Later and Lorne. Lisa and Lorne. Later.
No, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Ooh. It's a thingy. Interesting.
The device. What is it?
I want to loot.
You've done your job. You'll be paid and...
Paid like the scholars were? They died once they were no longer useful.
They were never useful, but Cynthia insisted. Fortunately, they were so kind as to remove themselves without my help.
I'm not about to be that kind.
Adelbert, you know what you're to look for.
Yes, Ma'am.
It's a prototype megascope. I didn't know it had survived.
What's it do?
The artifact detects an emotional bond with a person. Its user need only focus on that person and the device will establish a connection.
Great tool for a spy.
Yes.
Time you fulfilled your end of the bargain. What do you know about my past?
If you say nothing...
You were a rider of the Wild Hunt. I read the reports.
Wait, what?
Don't the Nilfgaardians have anything better to do than write reports about witchers?
Not about witches. About you. You are the sole person to have been a member of the host. And survived.
Anything else?
Anything else? Any detail you can give me would be useful.
Don't trust Letho.
You think I trust the people I hunt?
He's your foe today. But he wasn't always.
Yes, I know that. What do you know about Letho?
How do you know I knew Letho?
I've read...
The reports, I know. Why are you warning me about him?
Because I like you.
How do you know I was a... what? How do you know I was a rider?
Is there anything to prove I was part of the Wild Hunt?
Nothing. Apart from the fact that Nilfgaardian intelligence agents are drawn and quartered for lying in their reports.
An enlightened nation indeed.
You haven't the faintest notion how many people are interested in you. Very important people.
Just because I survived?
You're a former rider of the Hunt, and you live. You may be the key to solving the mystery of the retinue. And they all know that. You must watch out for yourself.
Thank you.
Let's say you've satisfied my curiosity.
Well then, consider me glad to have satisfied a witcher, whatever the way.
I'd like to try the artifact. That's also true.
I'd like to try out the device.
You realize that can only end badly.
Cut in again and I'll put you in my report. You may use it, but just once.
Giving state secrets away to a Nordling. Will you mention that in your report?
You're sure to be named a commander one day, Adelbert. But until that happens, be a good boy and do your job.
Article 22 of the Code is clear. Suspicion of treason is sufficient grounds to strip a commander of power. Article 1 of my personal code is equally clear. Traitors must be subjected to the most painful death possible.
Okay, I'm carrying too much stuff. How much am I over by? Rusty well balanced dagger. This wasn't anything I've got. Did I get an instant kill on him? I instantly killed the boss. Follow the fireballs. Is he dead?